Hey, what's up guys, this is Austin Napier back here with another video. But I realized the last time I filmed, which was the first video I posted, I did not give that good of an introduction, and I'm so sorry for that. But here's a little bit about me. My name's Austin Napier. I live in London, Kentucky. I graduated from Northflower High School. I fished my junior year. I did not fish my senior year, unfortunately. I should have. I want to work and everything, so I actually did not fish that year. But here on my channel, I'm not going to ask for likes and subscribes all the time. I'll ask for them time to time. It'll be giveaways sometimes. It'll be times to actually get down and talk fishing. But I actually don't just want y'all to learn from me. I actually want y'all to branch out to these other YouTubers, like your bigger ones, but at the same time I want you to come back to your smaller ones. Someone local, because that's who's really going to know what's going on and what to use in your local lakes and stuff, or just fishing in general. But I actually run pretty tight ship and pretty tight gear here. My bait casters is Shimano and my spinning reels is Daiwa. Don't ask me how I came up with that. I just like what I like. But in that first video, I used this bait caster right here. It was late evening. I found a few in the jumps, and I was wanting to see if I could get any to hit the spook. Yes, I was in a pond and I was in the jumps. I actually do fish lakes. I have my own boat, my own truck, and everything, so it will be videos from that in the near future. So this is my CI4 Chronarch made by Shimano. It's in a 7:6 to 1 gear ratio. It's paired up with a KVD Quantum Tour rod and a 6'6" medium heavy action. I have a 13 fishing dual pitch 94 on there. I've done a few modifications and everything, and I have it paired up with 17-pound Suffix Profix monofilament. Now, what does mono allow a bait to do? Well, mono floats versus fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon sinks. Braid floats also. So, why the heavy pound with my top water? Well, it just allows this bait to stay on top more and easier. The thicker diameter your line is, the more buoyant it is to float. So that's why I went with 17. I usually go with either 20, 17, or 14. It just depends on which topwater I'm throwing, which rod and reel I have in my hand. But I prefer mono over braid, unless it's frogs and heavy cover. But how would I set this up to cast as far as I was, like you all saw? Well, that's simple. I actually, myself, I feel like most bait casters has either 2 or 3 different brakes in them. I call the tension knob a brake. It simply controls how fast it falls, and it also controls how fast that line comes off your spool. And obviously you have that little dial on there like I went over. And something unique about Shimano's, I know most Shimano's has it, some don't, but it has a third brake right there. Them little red pegs is another brake. I know if you ever go buy a new Shimano reel, it has some extra pegs in there, along with some reel oil, a little tube of reel oil. But what I do, I've been bait casting since I was 12. Therefore, I'm not nowhere a professional. I still backlash about every time I go. I have 1 to 2, maybe 3 backlashes in my spool. But I set mine a little bit looser. I actually watched Tactical Bass, and he said that if you set them a little bit looser, you get more sensitivity. I have a top water, you don't really need sensitivity because you're looking at the bait. But with the top water, if I'm on the lake, I want to be able to fire out there to a jumping fish, because you have a matter of seconds before it goes down. So that's why I set my top waters a little bit loose. This rod and reel, I actually had it set where you could hear a little bit of knock in the spool. But other bait casters, I actually have set kind of tighter, simply because different type of line. These two that I'm going over is my favorite two bait casters. I'm actually getting ready to upgrade to me a GLX, and I can't decide if I want a metanium or not. I've had a metanium and I got rid of it because I like this a whole lot more. But this is a jackhammer made by Z-Man. It's a 1/2 ounce Shimano Zodius 7.2 medium heavy, and a Shimano Chronarch MGL. So this is a newer one after the CI4. Shimano came out with the G this season, but I've not picked it up yet. Myself, I love my MGL. I mean, it does cast so far and so smooth. I love my Zodius too, but yeah, so my MGL I'm going to set just a little bit tighter, although it's more of a need for sensitivity in my opinion. But my advice to you all is, if you are a beginner angler, if you have thus bought your first bait caster, then I don't see yourself being able to afford something like a Shimano SLX DC or a Corrado DC, something that's going to help with that kind of stuff. Or even a Daiwa Tatula. Daiwa's makes one good reel. You take that left, I think it's magnesium. You take that mag dial, set it on 11, and you cannot backlash that thing no matter how hard you try. And you get pretty good distance. But if you are an experienced angler and you just want to take it to the next level, get you some heavier line. I'm not talking about 12, 15. I'm talking about 17, 20, maybe even 25, depending on where you live in the country. And you thus go out there and practice casting it. The reason why I recommend thicker line and heavier line is because it's more easy to get out. The bird nest is. And don't be afraid to set that thing looser. You're not going to go out there and have it going crazy, knocking all over the place, but loosen it up out of your comfort zone a little bit and just start practicing. I set mine where if I need to flip up under a tree, here in Kentucky I have some hanging trees, not a lot, but I can. If I need to bomb way out there to bass in the jumps, I can. And I set about every one up like